Joining me on the afternoon show today, we have Vickie Martin from Age UK, Barrow and District. Welcome to the show, Vickie.
Hi, thank you very much for having me.
Now, we're going to talk about loneliness this afternoon. Obviously, it's a particular problem at the moment. Lockdown has exacerbated this problem. And of course, for some people, they've been shielding perhaps for a long time. But how does loneliness affect people?
I think it can affect people in many different ways. It's one of those things that it doesn't discriminate, it doesn't choose who it affects, it doesn't decide how it affects people either. And it's something that can often be swept under the carpet, and many people can fail to recognise the effects it can really have on people, which is often as a result of never having experienced it themselves. It can affect anybody of any age. It can affect older people who are living alone with no family or social circle. It can affect people who are married. 60% of people who are lonely are in fact married, and it highlights one of the many stereotypes regarding who can and can't be lonely, and it does take on many different forms. So it doesn't matter how many people you have around you, but rather the quality of the relationships you have and whether those relationships are beneficial. Yeah. So I think it can have a huge impact, on people's health and well-being. And when it comes to loneliness, everyone's different, and it can have a real impact on, as I say, people's mental well-being and also the physical well-being as well.
Do you think we have a particular problem with loneliness here in the local area?
Yeah, I think so. When we sort of look at some of the facts and figures, we used one of Age UK's heat maps, which identifies particular areas in Barrow that shows, an effect of loneliness in people over 65 in certain communities. For example, we know that there are areas of Hinepool and Barrow Island who are most at risk of struggling with loneliness. And over half of the homes on Barrow Island, we know are single person households. So I think that there is an issue there that we can help to tackle and raise awareness of.
Yeah, yes. Oh, it's shocking, but interesting research. Shall we listen to a bit of music and come back and talk about this in a bit more depth in a minute?
Yeah, lovely.
Okay, so they'll play a bit of music there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm joined this afternoon by Vickie Martin from Age UK, Barrow and District, and we've been discussing the impact that loneliness can have on people's physical and mental health, and also how there are certain areas of Barrow where there's a lot of people that live on their own and therefore potentially could be suffering from loneliness. Age UK, though, are launching a new campaign, Vickie, aren't they? Can you tell everybody what that's about?
Yeah, our campaign is called Lonely Less, and the aim of that campaign is to raise awareness of people who are struggling with loneliness and the impacts that it can have, but also what we can do to help those people who are currently on their own or struggling with loneliness.
Okay, so what can people do? What can people do individually, and what can we do perhaps as a community?
I think that there are things that we can do individually. For example, when we were in lockdown the first time last March, April time, everybody was at home. A lot more people had been furloughed, and the weather was nicer, so people were outside a lot more, and seeing people in their streets that they wouldn't usually necessarily see because they were going to work or they were going about the busy day. And, we had a lot of referrals from neighbours who noticed people that were in the homes on their own, that would notice an elderly neighbour, for example, that they wouldn't usually stop and talk to, and referring them into our services. So it's about just being aware of who's around you and your neighbours, and even family and friends, that just manage day to day in normal life, but just taking the time to think about somebody who may be really feeling the effects of lockdown at the moment. So people can check in with neighbours just by giving them a knock and socially distanced in a safe way at the moment, just to check up on elderly neighbours, just to make sure that they're okay, they're managing okay. Just a friendly chat on the doorstep or just saying hello and a smile, goes a long way. But we're also running, we provide a telephone befriending service, which has been really popular and in such high demand. That is volunteer-led, and we have 2 coordinators who oversee the service, and we have a team of over 30 volunteers who call a group of people who are struggling with loneliness just for a friendly chat, and just to see how they are and just have a little chat about their life and the kinds of things that they like to do and the family and things like that. And just that, 5, 10, 15-minute phone call a couple of times a week makes such a massive difference to people.
Yeah. So people can volunteer for that if they want to. Absolutely.
Yes. We're desperate for new volunteers. As I say, you can dedicate, as much or as little time as you want to. There's no sort of specific set time or amount of calls that we would ask people to do. Our coordinators would assign people, match volunteers to clients. So they would then arrange to call people as and when it's convenient for both parties, as little or as often as they want to.
Well, I think it's so important, isn't it, that human connection that we're all really missing at the moment. We need to address that. So if you've got some spare time, then please get in touch with Age UK. I'm sure that they will find a job for you to do.
Absolutely, definitely.
And that in itself, of course, will alleviate loneliness. If you are actually feeling lonely, volunteering to help somebody else who's feeling lonely may well help you as well.
Absolutely, yes.
Thank you so much for your time, Vickie, and good luck with all your campaigns and all the great work that Age UK have been doing over the past few months. It's been invaluable.
Thank you very much. It's been lovely to talk to you. Thank you.